Hi, cat. Come and get some mango, baby.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. Self-awareness is a superpower. My name is KathyLaDonna. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. I hope the free thinkers are doing well. And if you're not doing well, I'm happy to remind you that you are the most powerful person that you know. You are the most powerful person that you know because only you can create your reality. Hey guys, so today is the last day of 2022. Today is Saturn Day, December 31st, and the day adds up and reduced to the number 4 vibration. If today is your birthday, happy birthday. So Saturday, a day of structure, a day of organization, a day of, say, restrictions to a certain extent, where it's easy to feel restricted when it comes to time. There is too much time or not enough time when it comes to, say, the energies within the day. And Saturday is associated with Saturn, and Saturn is in the sign of Aquarius. With Saturn in Aquarius brings our attention to the need for freedom and also to help us be our own authorities when it comes to, say, how we associate ourselves with friend groups and group dynamics. Because Aquarian energy reflects the underdog within all of us. We all have an aspect to us that feels like the underdog or have felt like an underdog at some point or the next. But for me, when it comes to, say, that underdog feeling, I came to the realization that the underdog feeling, or considering myself as an underdog, was like a cop-out, because it was a way of justifying why something wasn't how I thought it should be. And also to that underdog mentality meant that things had to be harder for me, or I had to have a harder, tougher fight. And that caused me to project into my reality and made things a lot harder than it needs to be. But when it comes to, say, that Aquarian energy, that's because at some point we've experienced an experience where we were the underdog. We've experienced something where we were overlooked or rejected or felt like we weren't enough. And from that experience, it left a mental and emotional imprint within us. So every time we have something that reminds us of that, we naturally expect the worst. And this is where we see ourselves as the underdog, expecting to get a fight. But that's just a defense mechanism that we come up with to justify why we are where we are, or why things is the way it is for us. But it goes against us because, like I said, it gets in the way of our manifesting. And with Saturn there, Saturn is helping us to take responsibility for ourselves when it comes to how we associate ourselves in groups and being our own authority. Because with Aquarian energy being a humanitarian energy, and makes the perfect humanitarian because it knows how it feels to be overlooked. It knows how it feels to be left behind. It knows how it feels to be in the dark. So who's better to help with something other than the person who's been through it, has some personal experience? But with Aquarian energy being such a selfless energy, because it knows how it feels to go through the worst, and like I mentioned earlier, we've experienced something challenging and that left an imprint on us to the point where we start to expect it, and then that's where we manifest it. But the Aquarian energy being that humanitarian energy, this is where some of us don't know how to interact with others without being the one that's always giving, without being helpful, without being useful. So this is where we have friendship dynamics and connections that don't serve us, because we're the ones showing up, always doing the heavy lifting. And it's not even that anybody asked. To me, it's just natural to to show up that way, because as children, some of us had experiences where we felt like if we weren't being useful or helpful, we were a burden, a problem, or weren't seen. So we bring that energy into our friendships and connections, and we teach other people to have these expectations of us. And this is where we find ourselves a lot of the times ghosting and avoiding people and feeling like people are so selfish, when it's because we showed up and taught them to have those expectations, really. And this is why I love to say you're the most powerful person that you know, because only you can create your reality. It's so easy for us to take on a victim consciousness mindset, but when it comes down to it, like, it comes down to, say, perspective, how we choose to see things, and realizing that the power is within us, regardless of how something seems. And for me, I like to look at patterns in my life, and it was through patterns I was able to see that I have this underdog mentality, and I tend to overlook the great things that happen for me and focus on why it's so hard for me and how it's unfair and how other people have these amazing things happening for them and not me, where someone else might look at me and think, oh my God, you're so blessed, you're so lucky, while I'm busy seeing my situation is not that great because I'm putting someone else's over it. So yeah, Saturn energy is helping with that on a collective level. But Saturn is being squared by Uranus and Taurus. So this is where Uranus energy, it's impulsive, it deals with revolution, it's free. But Saturn energy is the old, Uranian energy is the new. So Saturn energy is the restrictions when it comes to group. Uranian energy is freedom when it comes to, say, our financial situation, our food, just all the systems that govern over the material world. So with Saturn restricting Uranian energy, and Uranian energy bringing in the change, of course, the change comes in sometimes in ways that could be painful, stressful, or even scary. So with Saturn in Aquarius squaring Uranus and Taurus, like I said, shaking things up, Saturn energy creating restriction in Aquarius, but it's that restriction where we rebel and have freedom. So even though something feels like the worst, it's actually beneficial because it's a cause that's going to have a certain effect. But Saturn is squaring Uranian energy. So the square to me talks about the fight between the old and the new. I remember mentioning that earlier, or maybe in the last video, about the placement of the moon. But now with Saturn and Aquarius, there's a back and forth between the old way and the new way. And this could be back and forth with the need for freedom and traditions within the family. And the moon is at 29 degrees in Aries. Depending on the time you see this, the moon might have already moved into Taurus. But with the moon being at the degree that it is, our emotional space, our emotional world could be a little bit intense, could be a little bit turbulent, with the moon transitioning into Taurus. And then when the moon transitions into Taurus, of course, our inner world is just focusing on a need for pleasure. So I think of the excitement of Aries energy. And then the moon transitions into Taurus, and it's like, I just want comfort. I just want to relax after all of that excitement is what I get from that. And the day is the 31st. The number 3 is expressive, it's childlike, it's creative, it's inconsistent, but it's authentic. The number 1 is the father, it's masculine energy. The 3 is the child. The number 1 is an idea, it's direct, it's the ego. But 3 plus 1 is 4. So there's structure or a need for structure, but freedom within the structure that's created. The day adds up and reduced to the number 4 vibration. So the overall energy of the day with the number 4 and Saturn ruling over the day with it being Saturday just ties into foundation and structure. So things coming up around structure and foundation. So say you're together with family and loved ones, structure and foundation is going to come up. And when I think of structure, I think of boundaries. So maybe issues around boundaries, the need for better boundaries. I think of, say, yesterday and what was going on with all that childlike expressive energy. Maybe some things may have happened, or some things may have been said where people weren't fully thinking about what it is that they're saying. And then today it's reflecting on the lack of structure. The lack of structure where the foundation is weak, and issues associated with that, or where a person feels like they they're not free. They feel stuck within a certain situation. And like I was mentioning with the Aquarian energy, we teach people to have certain expectations. So this is where we reflect on our situations, look for the pattern within our situations and other situations like it, see how we're showing up, and come up with a way to turn that around by holding ourselves accountable and being consistent and teaching other people how to treat us, teaching other people how to be in a relationship, in a friendship, in a connection with us. And sometimes when people are spoiled and used to having a certain connection, it could be rough to reteach them. Some people might not have it, but those who matter won't mind. They'll be happy that you're happy. They'll be happy that there's reciprocity in the connection and no ghosting or weird vibe, because communication is tough. When it comes to the card associated with the day, we have the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles energy talks about financial stability. The Queen energy is feminine energy, which deals with introverted energy. So to me, this is reflecting on, say, responsibility and taking care of the ones we love, the ones who matter. So with the day having to do with the number 4 energy, the number 4 is a hardworking energy. Like I said, it deals with structure, also deals with discipline, responsibility, and commitment. So with the Queen of Pentacles, this could be, say, a new beginning when it comes to, say, financial opportunity or financial stability, or choosing to offer that pentacle to someone else, or taking on something that will require more responsibility. But the financial stability will be there if something does come up that has to do with finances or financial situation. The structure will be there, the financial support will be there, because the Queen of Pentacles in the upright position just talks about the abundance. So to me, there could be a situation, where there's news or there's this optimistic feeling about how you can structure your life, how you could create better balance, how you could create better stability. I just get that optimistic feeling when it comes to wealth and financial stability. And when it comes to, say, the spirit animal associated with the day, we have the crocodile energy. And when it comes to the crocodile energy, I think about, say, thick skin. I think about thick skin is what comes to mind. And I'm also looking at the green in the crocodile's eye, the green and the orangish yellow color. And when it comes to, say, the colors, I think of, say, the orangish yellow energy brings me to, say, the sacral and the solar plexus, which is nurturing and creative expressive energy. The green talks about the heart. And then the thick skin of the crocodile brings me to, say, structure and stability. So this brings me to the thought of someone having a realization about something that they want to do, something that they want to make happen, and then spending the day to structure things out. It's like with Mercury in retrograde and the new moon that we recently had in Capricorn, it's like maybe someone got an aha moment from being in the presence of others. Maybe being in the presence of others felt like some kind of an activation and is helping you to see things in a way you never saw things. Or maybe someone said something and it's like something goes off within you and it's just a new perspective. And with the Queen of Pentacles, financially, some good news for someone when it comes to finances, or just feeling optimistic when it comes to one's financial situation. And it doesn't even have to just be finances, because Pentacle energy is anything that's tangible. So it could be that you got something tangible that makes you feel stable, that you feel good about it. It's something that you could build a foundation around, is what I'm picking up. And the moon is being squared by Venus conjunct Mercury and Pluto and Capricorn. So this gives me the feeling that the inner world and, say, how we're communicating or how we're receiving communication, there could be a disconnect where this is where we could find ourselves being super sensitive or not saying everything that we need to say out of fear of offending or disappointing someone. With the crocodile energy coming out, say what you need to say, have some thick skin, and allow other people to develop their thick skin. Of course, for me, it goes back to intentions. As long as your intentions is not to hurt and your intentions is to express yourself and understand, say what it is that you need to say. But when it comes to the energies within the day overall, big feeling about security, stability, financial financial security and stability, and just hints and ideas of where the foundation might be weak and where you might need to start, re-solidifying your foundation, making some changes. Because the number 4 energy deals with commitment, and it's so easy for some of us to commit to certain things and stick with it. Not commit and stick with it because we love it, but commit and stick with it because we're afraid. The number 4 energy dealing with structure, and I think of the number 8 energy, which is 2 4s double, that deals with a system. So we could get so comfortable within the structure and being a part of a system, whether it's a relationship or a career or whatever it is, but this thing kind of anchors us down and makes us feel safe to the point that even though it's uncomfortable, we will allow ourselves to sink with the ship. So something about the energies within today can feel a bit oppressive or restrictive, but at the same time, some kind of solution comes through all of it. So everything is happening for the greatest good. And I think this is a great way to wrap up with some thick skin and focusing on structuring your foundation, solidifying your foundation, and reflecting on your situation to see where the foundation is weak. And also me mentioning our friend group dynamic, how we connect with other people and the expectations that we allow other people to have based on how we're showing up. Such a pleasure. As always, if you'd like to book a natal chart or tarot card reading, the link is in the description box below. If you would like to check out the exclusive content post weekly on Patreon or support the channel by becoming a member on Patreon, that link is also in the description box below. If you're still here with me, I'd love to hear about it. Please let me know by dropping me a green heart in the comment box below. I would love to hear from you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Love yourself as if your life depended on it, because it does. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.